You're listening to A Smart Stack with Maria LaChapelle. This is episode 14 of Dear Mrs. Whitelady. What color do you get when you mix violet blue sadness with white hot anger? The graphic is Portrait of Amélie Matisse by Henri Matisse, Femme à Chapeau, Woman with Hat, 1905. Catch me on YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Madame Matisse was dressed in all black when she sat for this portrait. Matisse's extraordinary use of color does not attempt to alter the sadness and pain in her face, the tear-stained cheek, the slightly elevated jaw, the downturned lips. I know this look. It is the look of a woman who has had enough. I've been thinking about you these past few days. I try to stop in, see how you are, keep you updated on a few things happening out here in the land of white ladies. Maybe try to get you to read something other than Am I the Asshole on Reddit? I read a bit myself, but the most inspiring things I see don't make the news, and you may have missed them too. They are illuminated by friends and friends of friends and strangers here. A woman of a certain age, carrying a sign with one hand and teetering on her walker with the other. The 91-year-old white lady's courage to hoist the placard, "Be glad we just want equality, not revenge." The Mrs. White Lady who gave Trump the middle digit while riding her bicycle outside Doral last year is the same Mrs. White Lady who ran and won a seat on the local zoning commission overseeing Trump's Florida properties. I love these Mrs. White Ladies. Thousands of Ukrainian flags waving blue and yellow, with the shared sentiment, "Hang tough, we're with you." Then I read Ukrainian citizen journalist Viktor Kravchuk's words of encouragement to us last week. His home, Sumy, was bombed on Palm Sunday. At least 30 killed. The uncertainty of what the next hour will bring, loss of heat, light, internet, the pang of 20,000 Ukrainian children abducted and held in Russian re-education camps. And yet, Victor sits down to write a love letter to encourage us in our protests, knowing he may not survive long enough to send it. He is infinitely more gracious than we deserve. Take a moment or two to read his letters. They are lovely. He is lovely. And there is Larry, a 76-year-old white gentleman who writes to me in tears, acknowledging that, yes, some things need to be said. We belong to each other, and I am perpetually choked up. Violet blue melancholy everywhere descending. In between feelings of what rage, I feel a deep sadness, a blue-violet, violet-blue melancholy that bears down on me like fog. In the wee hours, I have a recurring dream that my 6.5-pound Pomeranian, Miss Emma, jumps from the pier to play with dolphins. She does this. In my dream, I've forgotten to tether her to me. My agony as the current carries her out. I cannot get to her. It's like Wee Jamie in The Secret of Rowan Inish. A beautiful movie if you care for Irish folklore, Irish pubs, and seals. Awakening from my anguish, I know something I care deeply about has been lost through my own carelessness. I fear for all of us now, Mrs. White Lady. I fear you won't see the tide coming in, and when you realize it, it will be seconds too late. I worry then, as I do now, that I won't be able to reach you, that you will be too far gone. My second grade world of unbridled color. As a child, I possessed little artistic talent or ambition, but I liked everyone on my second grade coloring project immensely. If Mrs. Hodjanowski's April showers bring Mayflowers art project charade distracted us from the dullest days of winter spring and got me out of a geography lesson or two, I asked no questions. I did, however, fancy myself a bit of a curator of color. I would present each Crayola crayon to my coloring associates with the ritual afforded a debutante's introduction to polite society. Plucked from the obscurity of a triple-decker yellow and green box, you know, with the sharpener on the side, I assured each color she would be made known to all. Raw umber! Did we even know what umber was as 8-year-olds? I know I didn't. Dandelion, mulberry, clementine. Okay, I made that last one up, but it really should be a color. This was years before chartreuse made her Crayola debut. Fun fact, did you know Carthusian monks at Beauvais near Paris developed chartreuse liqueur, the elixir of life? The alchemy of 130 flowers and plants gives way to the liqueur's green and yellow hues. At my unveiling of Hello Spring Flowers, no ode to nature was played. No one recited These Flowery Waters and These Watery Flowers by Robert Frost. And yet, Hello Spring Flowers was a testament to vibrancy, to awakening color, the hue of robin's eggs, daffodils, crocus, and the Lenten rose. Oh, before I forget, Charlotte, would you remind me to put in an order of 200 ladybugs? Yeah, last year I forgot, and the aphids had a field day. The rose bushes did not. Did I mention the New York City Flower Show is coming up? I once saw a sculpture of her standard French poodle fabricated entirely of white chrysanthemums, peonies, carnations, and vines. I believe her nose was made of button moss. Oh, sugar. I was going to help my dear lady get her trash out to the bin. I'm going to move my orchids outside too. They love the night air. Be right back. Let's talk about Catholic monks and hooch. With Easter around the corner and all this talk about vibrant colors, I have never even mentioned that our marshmallow president was seeking a corporate sponsor for the White House Easter egg roll. This is me exercising restraint. I didn't even make one marshmallow peep about it. Market report, DJT eggs are $11.99 to $14.99, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed down 4,400 points since the inauguration. Augur. Interesting word, augur, portending both good or bad fortune. Common usage, Trump has not augured well for America. Oh, where was I? Oh, yes. Easter Catholics, Jesus being handed over to a cool dictator like Caesar or Bukele. Oh wait, I'm confusing centuries. Of course, with the Catholics, there's the spiritual transmutation of water to wine at a wedding. Even someone with my Mrs. White Lady education knows that. Then, Chartreuse appears in Paris in 1605. Seems there's a bit of a gap from BC to 1668 when Benedictine monk Dom Perignon of Come I Am Tasting Stars fame was credited for producing champagne by divine fermentation. Fun fact, sparkling wine was produced a century earlier, but I think the God so loved the world he wanted us to have wine makes for a better story. Next, someone's going to tell me that Trappist monks are brewing small batches of bready sourdough ales in the cellars of Belgian abbeys. What does all this have to do with white ladies, immigrants, or race, you ask? Bear with me. I'm getting to that. The rabbit hole is deep enough for all of us. The beauty is in the cruelty. The air around me carries the sounds of grievous torment, suffering, degradation. Mr. Abrego Garcia, the names of those taken whom we don't even know. I contemplate my neighbors living in fear, elementary schools being raided, my Haitian friends expecting a child. I fear for my former students and any one of us who believe the First Amendment protects everyone against attacks from the government. Snatch up a few Arab students, let's call them terrorists. Hispanics, let's call them gang members. And the homegrown criminals, they could be you or someone you work with, live with, or gave birth to. When MAGA folks said they liked Trump's policies but would be hard-pressed to name one, I understood that was code for deport, deport, deport. I support the president is code for woo-hoo, government-sanctioned sadism, yes please. If the plan involves anything to do with immigrants and their children, by all means, be as cruel as possible. Taken away by masked men? No warrants required here. They spoke Spanish in the school parking lot. Deport. She held a protest sign. Genocide is a war crime. Hang her for treason. He had an autism awareness tattoo. Put that man in chains. An Hispanic gay makeup artist? Violate him. Oh, here are a few other MAGA wins to celebrate. Deported. Well-known Venezuelan pro-EU footballer was illegally taken into ICE custody, put in chains, and sent to El Salvador because he had a Real Madrid tattoo. He has U.S. legal status. These ICE agents couldn't pass a third-grade reading comprehension exam. Deported to Mexico. A 5-year-old undergoing chemo treatment. Despite knowing she is a U.S. citizen, her high crimes and misdemeanors? Speaking Spanish at the bodega. Cut off from legal aid, infants, toddlers, and minor children will now go before judges in asylum hearings without speaking the language, without a law degree, with no legal advocate, and some barely able to walk or talk. There's no sugarcoating this one. If you've gone along with the most grotesque, the most vulgar, the most depraved, obscene acts, know this. You have sent these men, women, and children to torturous, brutal deaths. Get your tickets now for the premiere of Deported, starring Taken's Liam Neeson and Mr. Robot's Rami Saeed Malik. I don't see the Proud Boys selling any merch emblazoned with, "I'd rather be imprisoned in El Salvador than vote for a blank and blank black woman." Editor's note: the Proud Boys lost their trademark to AME Baptist Church after failing to pay a $2.8 million judgment against them in February of this year. The Constitution, just because we wrote it down. The Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal. Oh, that's adorable. The preamble to the Constitution, to ensure domestic tranquility, promote the general welfare. LOL. The First Amendment, Congress shall make no law prohibiting freedom of speech or of the press or of the people to peaceably assemble, unless it's the Associated Press being barred from the White House or Air Force One or unarmed BLM protesters in front of St. John's Church in D.C. That's the upside-down Bible church. The Fourth Amendment, to be secure in one's persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures without a warrant or probable cause. If you're an immigrant or a Canadian citizen going through customs or border security. The Fifth Amendment, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. Why is it they always put that property in there, aka enslaved people? The 19th Amendment, white ladies voting, well, we all know that's just silly. How are these images of the slave trade any different from the U.S.-sanctioned war crimes in Salvadorian death camps? Our shared histories, however tragic or difficult to look at, belong to us all. We own the present-day atrocities as well because they happened on our watch. This poster was prescient. Caution: avoid conversing with watchmen and police officers of Boston, for the order of the mayor have empowered them to act as kidnappers and slave catchers. They have been employed in the kidnapping, capturing, and of keeping slaves. If you value your liberty, keep a sharp lookout for kidnappers and have top eye open. April 24, 1851. The second photo is of a black woman forced to her knees, shackled, naked, in the sand, presumably coming off of a slave ship. She is being branded on her shoulder while others watch. The other two photographs are sketches of how enslaved people would be captured, transported, and hidden in slave ships on the second and third levels of the ship to avoid detection. They would hide as many and secure as many people as possible in the holds. The other photographs you've seen already, those of the men in El Salvadorian prisons, naked, head shaven, forced to sit or lay with their legs outstretched, their heads down. How is this any different than the slave ships that we have above. Going back to the White Lady machine. Going back to the Wayback Machine. Going back to the Wayback Machine. The White Lady claimed America first, one God, one country, one flag. I found this in the Wayback Machine. Photograph of the Ku Klux Klan 1920s Women's March during Prohibition, courtesy of the Bettman Archive. In the 20s, the KKK sermonized that only white Anglo-Saxons could be real Americans. They warned the country was under siege by Catholic immigrants, by their foreign ways, their drinking, and of course, their criminality. While Black lady suffragettes were marching for the vote, the White Lady Klan paraded unmasked in white hoods, enforcing violence neighborhood by neighborhood. We've been so conditioned to think of white ladies as abolitionists. I had no idea that Prohibition was just another competing faction of white supremacy. Just goes to show that we white ladies don't know our history. Check out Dear Mrs. White Lady, Episode 7. Link attached. Springtime Color in Golden Beets. Courtesy of The New Yorker, March 26, 1927, is an article on the rooftops covered with rhododendrons, cabbages, and kingfishers. Second photograph from the gardening website The Bug of fresh beets and different varieties. The farmer's market. If you can find golden beets this spring, do yourself a favor and spend the $3.89 a pound on a bunch. You want to buy them with the greens attached. Slice the top of each beet to make a little hat. Wrap the beets individually in tin foil so they vent at the top. Add a little oleo, salt and pepper, and you're in business. Roast these lovelies with their chapeaux for an hour at 400 degrees. Let them cool in the foil, then remove the skins. Slice them in rounds and present them atop arugula, greens, goat cheese, candy pecans, and ground black pepper. It's one of my spring favorites. If you prefer a warm salad, as my husband once did, replace the goat cheese with uncured bacon. Uncured bacon is cured with beets and celery, so it's a perfect complement. Oh, would you excuse me for a moment? Hey, Charlotte, is tinfoil the same as aluminum foil? Would you kindly check on today's tariff of Canadian aluminum? Charlotte's amazing. I couldn't manage without her. Anyone who dares say horticulturists lack imagination have never heard the names of beet varietals. Who could not delight to receive heirloom seeds for beets named Touchstone Gold, Detroit Dark Red, Sangria, or Avenger? So what now? With each breath and the next and the next and the next, we are in a battle we cannot walk away from. Through my melancholic anger sadness, I've come to know that shared pain exists. Talk soon. M. P.S. If I've convinced you to make a beeline to the New York City Flower Show at Herald Square, April 27th to May 11th, I'll give you a full day's itinerary. Take Metro North to Grand Central. Photos in the main lobby are a must. Skip Annie's Pretzels and head straight downstairs to the Oyster Bar. Treat yourself to some oysters with mignonette sauce. Tell them I sent you. After that, walk to 14th Street and 8th Avenue and take the ACE to the Whitney in the Meatpacking District. Also, great place for photos. Among other works, Michelle Obama's iconic portrait is on exhibit right now. Then take the train back to Christopher Street and 33rd and walk the 1 block to Herald Square. Oh, did I mention wear sensible shoes? PSS. Now I'm homesick to see the sun streaming through the windows of Grand Central. I'm hungry for oysters, art, and flowers. Much love.